Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Scaling New Heights App Academy. We're so excited that you're here. Just going to give it a couple of minutes while we let people in. We do have a big crowd today joining us, so it's very exciting to have you all here. Following up after Scaling New Heights, whether you went or not, it was a great event. Loved connecting with everybody in the ecosystem. So I'm your host, Amy Keenan, and I will be doing the brief intro and housekeeping. Yes, this is going to be recorded. Yes, we will send out the recording to all those that register and or attend. We also just want to briefly talk a little bit about our Be Insightful membership. If you haven't heard of it, maybe you are a member already. We're so glad that you are. Hopefully you're joining all the tracks and trainer sessions that we have each month, but it's a great community. It's a great way to get CPE. It's a great way to build up your skills and practice and learn from the best in the ecosystem. So if you want to learn more about Be Insightful, let us know. We'll send you some more information, because if you do register, if you do become a member, you'll be entered in to win a cruise. Yes, a cruise that we will be setting sail July 19th of next year. And you'll see the information here on the slide. So stay tuned for more information on that if you are interested. So thank you so much. Next up, we have Robert from Zaptiva. Are you ready?
I am ready, except my camera is not cooperating at this moment. 1 second.
There we go.
Hello. All right.
All right.
And we are off.
You are.
Well, Amy, thanks very much. And everybody who came before me, fantastic job. Thank you for giving the community a lot of information here that we all benefit from on a day-by-day basis. Again, really quickly, my name is Robert Eppele. I am the CEO co-founder here of Zaptiva. And we had a fantastic time at Scaling New Heights. I hope some of you actually had an opportunity to get there. It was a great event. We made a lot of new friends and really enjoyed ourselves. But what I want to talk to you about today is these marvelous systems that we're hearing about today. One of the things that we know for a fact that may happen from time to time is we don't know necessarily how to pull them all together. So the question on the table is, what do you do when data sits on different systems, different critical systems that you or your clients have actually created? But that information needs to find its way back into the home, the accounting home, the truth, the source of truth, right? We're looking for a way to take all of these disconnected spreadsheets, antiquated applications, paper, manual efforts, whatever it might be. How do we get all of these things to kind of get back into that accounting information so it makes your job easier, your customers' experience with information increase? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. I won't make you read too much, so hopefully it'll be just nice and pretty slides, all right? So here's the concept of what Zaptiva does. Zaptiva is a solution we designed specifically to address how to bring those pieces of data in from every location throughout an organization that has nothing to do with the ERP or an accounting system. Ask yourself for a moment, no matter the size of organization that you've ever consulted with, run, or do the accounting for, there's always these processes that sit offline from the accounting system. Now, with marvelous systems like Use and ADP and Zoho and all of those other fantastical systems that actually can integrate and do wonderful things, still today, our champions, those entrepreneurs out there in the wilderness, they're breaking things. They're going out there and they're creating stuff. And what we want them to do is let them go do that. I know as an accountant, it probably drives us mad because we want to have everything kind of nice and tidy. But here's the reality. They're doing what they do best. It's up to us to kind of bring that back together and actually centralize it for them to optimize and run effectively. So that's what we created. We created a way that you, your customers, can easily take those data points, get them translated into a meaningful, consistent way of processing the information, transforming the information into meaningful operational pieces. So at the end of this, everything can go back into the subledger and to the general ledger. By the way, this is not going to be a demo because I'll tell you why. It's more important for us to communicate the concept because once you got the concept, we can do the work. It's that easy. All right. So I'm going to start off with all of the real world examples. And by the time that I get through the 3 or 4 examples here, you all will have a very high quality concepting of what this product can actually do for you, your company, or the companies that you are running their systems for. Here's a story about a year, not even a year ago, sometime in October or so. Some of you people may know from Insightful Accountants, Carrie Kahn from Complete Business Group. She is one of the premier QSPs in the community and pro advisors. She has, I think, over a dozen or 20 years, I think it's closer to 20 years actually, where she has become one of the largest distributors of products, has approximately 1,000 channel partners that works with her. And her real world problem when we spoke to her, just not, I think it was October, November last year, was that she was having so much data coming in at her from various vendors, ADP and others, where they would send in their statements, they would send in cash, they would send in all of these documents that would help. Well, what her job was to do is to split that cash up with them. She would go out and consolidate all of that vendor resources. The vendors would pay, and she would distribute those to her partner channel. Well, it was overwhelming them. Not only was she working on it, her stepson was working on it, and another team member was working on it, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So she came to us and said, hey, what can you do to help? Well, what we were able to do is diagnose the entire business process. Once we did that, we were actually able to help her step by step complete individual automations. As a matter of fact, they had nearly 100 steps in their process to actually do their month-end distribution of commissions, for example. It was taking them on the order of 5.5 to 6 days a month, and they were always 1 month behind. Then, as a part of that, there was all of these ways of calculations or agreements or things like that that just made its way into the complex way that they handled their business. But because they're one of the best, because they take care of their partner base, probably par none better than anybody in the industry, they wanted to do better. So after we got to work with them, we were able to increase their accuracy to near perfect on a day-by-day basis. Number 2, we went from that 5.5 to 6 hours a month commitment of 2 or 3 individuals and bring that process down to about a half a day only. Insane, incredible. I mean, it was amazing. We were consuming documents like PDFs, Excel, and emails. By bringing the information into Zaptiva, we were able to take each one of those elements, take their brain trust, which we translated into Zaptiva, and with a little bit of AI augmentation of the data, we were then able to push all of this information into QuickBooks and to Palti. Both are used for very specific reasons that address their business needs. But at the end of the day, they're operating smoother, easier, and faster than ever before. I'm going to give you another example. We got 2 or 3 more examples here. Leckman or Leachman, depending on if you're Irish or Scottish. I have no idea which one this is actually. But they're in a very unique industry. And their real world problem was, and some of you may not know this, but I'm going to throw this out there anyway. IBM has a fantastical solution called an AS400. And that AS400, if anybody knows what that is, it's been around the IT industry for almost 40 or so years, possibly longer. That product is as old as anything, but it's a tank. This company, what they did is they had created a fantastic solution that helps them with their very specific way of doing inventory, billing, work in process, and a few other things. Well, about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, they started the process of looking at replacing that. And they were getting quotes in the millions of dollars to actually do the replacement and recoding of this system. That was so unique to their business. Well, when they knocked on our door, basically we said, you know what, keep that thing, because there's so much value in it that it makes no sense to try to recode that into something modern at this point. So what was our solution? Basically, we took the output from this AS400 in dot matrix. Anybody remember what those things are? Spitting this thing out, and we're able to get it printed into PDFs. Once we were able to actually get it printed into PDFs, we then were able to translate that document into QuickBooks. Actually, this is not QuickBooks Desktop, it's QuickBooks Online. And basically, they saved themselves close to $1 million with whatever the maintenance fee was going to be in an absurd basis. It was a wonderful save. We're loving this customer. They've had great success with this to this date. And everything that they've been doing right now has improved quality of cash flow without the struggle of data entry. All right. The RJTB group, this one's kind of cute and fun. They are, and if you've ever seen those wonderful commercials with all the celebrities and their fragrances, they probably produced it. And what their unique problem was is that they are a global distributor. You can imagine Beckham here, I think that's her name, you know, she's popular all over the world. So her fragrances too. And guess what? The only way to do that is to have manufacturing set up in different regions of the world. Well, what kind of problem does that cause? Well, guess. I got different systems, different production, different data sets. I've got different everything. So when the team over there asked us to help solve a problem for them, what we were solving for is this. We need to unify all of the data points so that it made it easy for their systems to bring in information. By the way, those information points that we were bringing this data into were QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Online, MySys Manufacturing, and Microsoft BI. All of those points of data were things that they needed very specifically to run their operations successfully. So we contacted all of these manufacturers throughout the world. We're able to draw all of their information in on a time frame we were comfortable with and RJTV could actually report on. Now they're up to a point where they're doing daily collection of data, being able to report faster, invoice faster, and track product faster to shelf. To all my Midwesterners, you may be familiar with this next organization. Their real world problem is they've got like 12 or 15 companies that are entities that run the Renewal by Anderson group. It's a big company. They're like $1 billion company. And basically what ended up happening was the CFO was getting sick and tired of how their close process was so delayed month after month. So what they asked us to help solve for is how I can pull trial balance data from different ERP systems and help consolidate and record into their top level reporting software. So that's what we did. We were able to plug into all of their ERPs, draw the data, normalize the chart of account, help with the, normalize the chart of account, and also the detail that was coming from each of those entities, consolidate them, and hand them over to the top level reporting entity. Currently, we're about 1/4 the way through this project. It's been ongoing now for several months, and we're still going. We love it. They're doing great with it. And we're continuing to see more of the controllers of their entities come in and ask us for additional work. Okay, so I'm going to get really geeky really quickly on this because this is the exciting stuff for me as a technologist. And hopefully you as implementers of creative solutions for your customers where you may not have a way or an ability to get these things done, conceptually speaking, this is it. We can take multiple data points of any type, just about, grab the data automatically on a schedule or manually, it makes no difference, manually triggered, and then individually step through the detail, let's say of an invoice that needs to be sliced up into commissions, maybe sliced up into an accounts payable, maybe it has to go into a job, who knows what it is. But now what we can do is step by step, produce the data from one or multiple data sources, process that data into other database sets like ERPs, CRMs, warehouse management. It makes no difference. That way, what happens is all of those old legacy, all of those old very important solutions are there, don't have to be trifled with, and we can focus on helping the customer move on with the thing that they need to do. And like we had mentioned before, we were at Scaling New Heights. We were introducing our big splash into the QuickBooks community mostly, but I also want to mention we have integrations with FreshBooks, QuickBooks, Zoho, Sage products, NetSuites, all of the major systems of the world today that are SaaS-based, we're able to actually plug into and solve with you along the way.